Our format will be the same. Each candidate will have 1 minute for opening statement. They will then field questions and will have 1 minute to respond. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for a closing statement. Candidates, there's a timekeeper at the front, and she has her infamous yellow card that will give you a 30-second warning. And at the end, you'll hear a bell, and we will stop, or I will stop for you. The audience, please refrain from applauding until the end of the segment of the forum due to time restraints. Our candidates for Cobb County Solicitor General are Solicitor General Barry Morgan, Cindy Yeager, and they are both with us tonight. Mr. Morgan, we will begin with your 1 minute opening statement.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, members of the Cobb County Republican Women and panelists. I appreciate the opportunity. Since 1998, I have served as your Solicitor General in one of the largest Solicitor General's office in the state of Georgia. We have over 100,000 cases per year. Our assistant solicitors handle an average of 3,000 cases per year. They are working hard for you each and every day. Since I was first elected, the office has successfully handled 1.8 million cases with an eye towards seeking justice. One of the responsibilities of the Solicitor General's office is to oversee the $5 million budget, and since fiscal year 2009, when the fiscal crisis hit, I have cut 33% from that budget, or a total of $175,000. I have been supported by the law enforcement community, the sheriff's community, and the prosecution community in this county in my re-election bid, having the endorsement of the Cobb FOP, the Sheriff Neil Warren, former Sheriff Bill Hudson, Cobb County Police Chief George Hatfield, and the former district attorneys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Morgan. Ms. Yeager.
My name is Cindy Yeager, and I am a candidate for Cobb Solicitor General. I began my legal career right here in Cobb County as an assistant solicitor for the Cobb County Solicitor's Office. I was instrumental in creating the Domestic Violence Court program under the tutelage of then Chief Magistrate T.O. Sturtevant. I then specialized my prosecution in the area of DUI and vehicular homicide litigation. I assisted in establishing and implementing the Prosecuting Attorneys Council statewide DUI, vehicular homicide, and DUI prosecution course. I next went to work in the Cobb County District Attorney's Office. While working in the Cobb County District Attorney's Office, I was assigned to Judge Botiford while he was off trying the tow cars case. After my successful prosecution of the cases in Judge Botiford's courtroom, I was chosen to be the lead prosecutor in charge of crimes against children, where I successfully litigated every case I brought before a jury. Since then, I have been in private practice, having established my own successful law firm right here in Cobb County. In addition, I've published a book, the Georgia DUI Case Reference, which is taught to seminars for prosecution, law enforcement officers, and attorneys across the state.
Thank you so much. We'll now begin the questioning, and please remember your response will be 1 minute. You'll be given the 30-second warning with the yellow card, and then the bell will ring, and I'll ask you to stop speaking at that time if you are still speaking. We will start with our first question from Felicity Diamond. Please direct your question to Ms. Yeager, please.
Thank you, Donna. What do you see as the foremost challenge to the Cobb County Solicitor's Office?
There are many challenges right now to the Cobb County Solicitor's Office. One of the biggest challenges, I believe, deal with handling cases in law enforcement. After looking over the records, we have about 2,500 DUI cases per year. At present, there's about a 30 to 40% reduction or dismissal rate in those cases. And in addition, we have a morale problem in our police department. Part of the morale problem is because they need to feel the support of law enforcement. They need to feel that the prosecutors are supporting the cases that they make out there on the street each night and every day. We need to get back in the courtroom and start prosecuting the cases. Secondly, we need to start looking at bringing the mental health court to state court. Solicitor's office is the prosecution office that handles those cases in which we have criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, some of the things that the candidate for judge, Ms. Harris, talked about. We need to have a mental health court to start directing those cases into treatment programs and not just using the Cobb County Jail as a holding time until they're back on the street. Thirdly, we need to really get education back in the prisons. We have 17-year-olds as adults who need to be educated.
Thank you so much. Mr. Morgan, the answer to that question, please.
Thank you. One of the most challenging things is prosecuting with a sense of justice, which we do. That's our mission statement in the solicitor's office on the limited budget that we have. We have worked very hard to find alternative sources of funding so that we can make sure that our prosecutors have the tools that they need to make sure that justice is done in each and every case. That has been our mantra. That has been our mission ever since we began. The other thing is making sure that we're up on the latest in education and prosecution. I have had the opportunity and the privilege of serving as the chair of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council Training Committee. So I provided that type of training across the years to prosecutors all across this state. And finally, we need to make sure, as Ms. Yeager said, and I've been working on the mental health court issue for a number of years, trying to convince our judges that that is something that we need. And I agree that we do need to make sure that the jails are not a holding cell for folks with mental illness. And I've been trying to lobby our judges for a number of years to make sure that happens.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to our second question, and that will be asked by Commissioner Bob Ott. And please address your question to Barry Morgan, please.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you both for stepping up and running for office. Recently, an elder abuse task force was created here in Cobb County. Should the Solicitor General be a part of this task force, and what do you think the Solicitor General can do to help combat elder abuse?
Thank you for the question. I am a part of the Elder Abuse Task Force. I serve as the vice chair of that task force, and I've been involved in educational programs out in the community. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago we were at St. Anne's Church to make sure that the resources are there for the elder abuse folks. We need to make sure, again, that our assistant solicitors are attuned to the intricacies and the problems of elder abuse, to make sure that they understand the financial issues, the intimidation issues that sometimes deal in an elder abuse case. We have, I firmly believe that we should be a part of that, and we are.
Thank you very much. Same question to you, Cindy.
Thank you, Mr. Ott. Most of the code sections that deal with elder abuse are going to be felony. If you're 65 or older and you have a battery, it's going to be a felony and prosecuted in the district attorney's office. A lot of the financial crimes are also going to be handled there. But there are a lot of things that the Solicitor General's office can do to assist and help with those crimes. Most of these elder abuse occur in a family setting. We already have a domestic violence court program set up. We need to revisit that domestic violence and look at the cases that are dealing with elderly individuals and their family members, and really start addressing those and making sure that when the elderly person is back in that home, that they are going to be protected. There's things that we can do in conjunction with law enforcement to create that protection. Obviously, we need to protect our most valued citizens, which are older citizens. And I believe that as Solicitor General, if I work together with the District Attorney's Office, with the community resources and law enforcement, we can do that in an effective manner.
Thank you very much. The third question will be from Tori White. And Tori, if you address your question, please, to Cindy Yeager first.
Thank you, Donna, and good evening to the candidates. Cobb County is well known for its rigorous prosecution of DUIs. Despite the amount of work and court appearances that's required to prosecute those cases. So some have suggested that the new Brave Stadium in Cobb County will increase the number of DUIs and perhaps some misdemeanor theft crimes. If that turns out to be true, what resources and strategy will Cobb County, specifically the Solicitor General Office, need to maintain its high standards?
That's a great question. I believe Cobb County has the resources to effectively prosecute the cases. The problem is that we need the prosecutors back in the courtroom trying cases. I alluded in my opening statement that we have about 2,500 DUI cases prosecuted per year with about a 30 to 40% reduction rate. That's too much. We need to better train our prosecutors to not just go to the office, but go into the courtroom. As we do that, we also need to train the law enforcement officers. They're the ones that are on the ground making the DUI arrests. We need to make sure that they have the ability to testify competently, they have the ability to make the cases competently when they bring them to us. I think if we are efficient and effective in the courtroom prosecution and work closely with our law enforcement officers, we don't need any more resources. We just need to do a better job at what we're doing right now.
Mr. Morgan.
Thank you for the question. We currently have one of the best offices, I believe, in the state of Georgia. We have individuals from other prosecution offices in the state of Georgia once an opening occurs who are clamoring to get to our office. And I believe it speaks of the reputation that we have. I disagree with my opponent that we aren't effective at the prosecution of DUIs. We are. And I think that we take whatever comes with the Braves Stadium. That is what we do, and we take the resources that we have. We communicate now with the police department. We have training programs constantly with the police department. We had one last week with the DUI task force and brand new officers on testifying in DUI cases. So we are there, we are doing it, and we will continue to do the great job in the courtroom as my assistant solicitors are doing.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Now on to our fourth question. That will be from Felicity Dunn. And Felicity, if you'll address your fourth question to Barry Morgan first, please.
Thank you. What changes, if any, would you like to see made to the Cobb County Solicitor's Office, and how would you go about implementing these proposed changes?
I think I would like, if we had a blank check, which we don't, I would like to again have the mental health court that we talked about. I would like to have the Veterans Court brought into the state court as well. I would also like to see more training than we have now. Although the training that we have is good, I would like to see more training because I don't believe that you can have enough training. I was a teacher in my prior life, and I believe that mentoring and making people better equipped to handle the cases that they have is always a goal that we need to have. And I would think that if we had that blank check, that those were the things I would like to do.
Ms. Yeager, the same question.
I don't think we need more money. I think we need to be effective with the money that we have. One of the first things that I would do is focus on youthful and first-time offenders. I think we need to have more additional alternatives to youthful and first-time offenders. We need to focus more on rehabilitation. We need to focus more on treatment. We need to focus more on education. And the next thing we need to do is we need to get education back to the jail. A 17-year-old gets arrested while they're in high school. If they stay in jail for three weeks, what are the chances that they're going to go back to high school? We need to partner with the president of Chattahoochee Tech and Sheriff Neil Warren and put education back in the jail so that we can keep those minor offenses and those under 21 offenders from reoffending. We need to expand our domestic violence court. We need to focus on family restoration. And we need to have the mental health court. I mean, that is one of the top priorities. But we can partner with the resources that we have right now in the community. There are many free and low-cost counseling alternatives that are available that are underutilized.
Thank you so much. The fifth question is going to come from Bob Ott. And Bob, if you'll direct your question to Cindy Yeager first, please.
Okay, my next question is very similar to one that I asked previous candidates because, like Supreme Court judges, Solicitor General is a constitutional officer in Georgia. And as such, not under the direct supervision of the Board of Commissioners, how can the Solicitor General work and help the Board of Commissioners control costs and keep taxes low, at the same time not sacrificing the duties of the office? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ott. Well, in my candidacy to become Solicitor General, I have done some research about where we can look at the budget and what things we can do. One of the things that we can do is there's about 250 trial weeks possible per year. We bring 100 jurors in every single week at a cost of $25 per juror. We only are trying about 25 to 40 cases per year. That's with 250 trial weeks. But we're paying jurors $25 a day, 100 jurors apiece, to come to court and just sit there and do nothing. We need to be, if we're not going to try cases, let's not have those judges come in. And if we're not going to try cases, let's not keep police officers on call. The commissioners have to have funds for on-call pay. If we're not going to be in the courtroom, let's have an effective system so that we cut the taxpayer burden and cut the inconvenience to taxpayers by not having to go to jury duty, by not having officers on call pay. Those are just two areas where we can start right now to making that office more efficient.
Thank you. Barry, the same question, please.
Thank you, Bob. I guess I could say I've been there and done that, and I have the T-shirt. I have worked since 1993 with the county manager, the Board of Commissioners, to make sure that the budget of the Cobb County Solicitor's Office is utilized effectively, and in those times when we've had recessions, I've cut the budget. Since fiscal year